Welcome back, everybody. In this episode, we are finishing the DIY hardtop. So what I'm going to be doing here is sanding down, just trying to get the orange peel out of this clear coat. I'm going to be hitting it with 1500 grit wet sand, then 2500 grit wet sand, and then going to polish it up with this heavy cut compound and then the lightweight polish. I've already tested that out on this middle section here. You can kind of see that the reflection is pretty good. When you come down here, it's not so great. Here it is after the 1500 grit wet sanding. Ideally, you'd want it to where you couldn't see any orange peel, but I'm gonna stop where I'm at because I don't want to sand too far into the clear coat to where it won't protect the carbon fiber and the resin from the sun. I think it'll look good enough. I'm still gonna do 2500 grit wet sanding, so it may get some of that out, and polish may get some of that out, but that's good enough for now. All right, time to get the Lexan windows mounted. First thing I'm gonna do is cut this sheet that I got from my local hardware store, cut it down to the size of the windows, and then we're gonna drill the mounting holes. I've got a countersink here that's gonna allow my hardware to be mounted flush against the window. So it should look pretty nice. Then I have some nylon lock nuts so the nuts don't come loose while I'm driving down the road and the window flies off. So let's get started. So what I've done here is I've taped the window to the hardtop and just kind of trying to trace where the outline of the window outer border is at. So now that I've marked that, I'm gonna cut out the bottom part here and then I'll cut the sides. All right, so I just put the window back on and went underneath the car and marked where the inside lip of the window sits on the underside. And I'm getting ready to show you why I did that. All right, so I'm gonna get my X-Acto knife and cut the inside line here, and then take the plastic protection off of this little edge and paint it black. It's just gonna make it look a little bit cleaner. All right, now I'm just gonna scuff this edge up a little bit so the paint has something to stick to. Window pane is all dried up, ready to get those installed. I went ahead and installed a little rubber gasket in between the window and the hardtop to help it seal. And it's just got some 3N tape on one side. I'll get an X-Acto knife or something to make little cuts to allow the bolts to go through. And then we'll get the window installed. All right, so I've got the window gaskets installed. I've got the windows installed. Now time to remove the soft top because I'm not gonna be using it anytime soon. And we'll reinstall the hardtop and get the car all cleaned up. But before I put this hardtop back on the car, I'm going to weigh it along with the trunk and compare it to the weight of the OEM trunk and the OEM soft top. And let's see if we lost any weight here. If I had to guess, I'm gonna say it's not gonna be a whole lot because it's a bigger top. I'm gonna say 15 pounds weight difference. Let's see if I'm right. So I got these aluminum plates that mount the hardtop toward the front of the car. And the reason I'm doing that is The OEM latch is kind of heavy, and if someone wanted to steal your hardtop, all they'd have to do is break your window and then push the button and off they go. And with these, it just makes it a little bit more difficult for them. So these will be bolted directly into the windshield frame and the hardtop. So I just realized that the OEM striker plate and the OEM latch compared to the aluminum plates that I'm now using are a 3-pound difference for the both of them. So if we add that to the total amount of weight savings for the hardtop, you get a total of 29 pounds. That's pretty good. It's not bad. It doesn't sound like a lot, but if you consider that most of that weight is up high on the car, you take a lot of that weight off and it's gonna give it a little bit less body roll and a little bit flatter in the turns, theoretically. So we'll see. All right, we got it all put together now. Time to take it out into the sun and see what it looks like. So there it is, guys. It's done. It's not perfect, I know that, but it's not bad. I can't complain about the way it came out for, this being one of my first times ever making anything carbon fiber and working with fiberglass. I can't complain with how it came out. There's definitely things that I've learned going through this whole process that I would improve on if I were to do it again, which I might. I'm gonna take a break, maybe a year or two down the road, I'll attempt it all again. So a couple of the biggest things I would have improved on, knowing what I know now, would be when I make the mold, for sure, make sure it's strong before you pull the mold off the plug. Because if it's not, it's gonna come off weak. The mold's gonna be it's gonna get wavy and it's not gonna look right. That's kind of why the top has a little bit of a waviness to it. It's because that mold structure was not on there yet and it kind of deformed a little bit. So make sure your fiberglass mold is very strong before you pull it off the plug. The next thing I would probably do different would be to make the window kind of border, I guess where the window sits on the hardtop, make that a little bit more sunken in to the hardtop so that the thickness of the window does not come up above the hardtop. So to kind of describe this a little bit better, you can see that the window kind of sits, the edge is above the top of the hardtop. That should be sitting down further into the hardtop. This is one of those things that I guess I really didn't account for when I designed it. I didn't know how big the gasket would make the window sit on top of the hardtop. So we'll have to redesign that portion of it if I ever decide to do it again. And the last thing, if I were to do this again, one of the main things that I would pay attention to would be laying the cloth in the mold to make sure that no seams are shown on that first layer, because that just kind of looks a little bit weird. You can see here that the seam is shown where the edge of the fabric was when I laid it in the mold. Just kind of a rookie mistake. I was in a little bit of a hurry because it was the first time I used that type of resin, which was a medium cure, which was a little bit faster. And I think it had a 30-minute pot life. So for a part this huge, I wasn't sure how fast I was gonna be able to get all that down and still have time to vacuum it. So that was a kind of a stressful moment. Overall though, I'm pretty happy with the way it came out. It's just like with anything, you can do better the next time you do it. The first time is just mainly learning. So I know the next time would be significantly better in quality. All right, y'all, let me know in the comments what you think you would like to see done to the car next. I'm kind of thinking I might build a carbon fiber splitter for the front, but I know it needs some coilovers, maybe some wheels and tires, but let me know what you think I should do next in the comments. As always, thanks for watching, like and subscribe.